Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back with another match of the Women's Commonwealth Games Sevens. This game, Fijiana, they want to make sure that they make an impact in their very first game, and they are up against a side who have never taken part in the Commonwealth Games as a side for the Sevens, and that is Scotland in the women's side of things, I should say. But it's going to be an exciting one. We see the starting lineup for Fiji. It is going to be Boleki in there, also Devea, a new name, Nagasau, the captain, Alunisau, she is brilliant. Anytime we mention her name, it's probably because she is running in yet again another try in her season. And alongside her, Kavuru, also there, Naimasi, and then it will be Donu as the last name in that starting lineup for the Fijiana side. Looking through at Scotland, their captain, Lisa Thompson, there at number one. Then it will be Sinclair or Campbell, Chloe Rowley. Then it is Rona Lloyd and Meryl Smith. Now, I should mention, I haven't actually seen South Africa women's side play a game of seven, so some of the names might not quite roll off the tongue, so I do apologise for that in advance, but I'm very excited to see what they can do up against the side that are actually right up there and a chance of being able to take out the gold medal. But first try of this match, I will say Ripia Lunasau. She's got a pretty good chance, and Fiji got a pretty good side for the Commonwealth Games. But Scotland, like I mentioned, just to be in the Commonwealth Games and the women's side of things is massive for them. Shows the evolution and the growth of the rugby in the Northern Hemisphere sides, because we did actually see a decent performance from Australia earlier on in the day. I'm getting a whole heap of notifications. Anytime you hear a buzz noise, that is pretty much a different notification for the Commonwealth Games coming through my phone. But 3-2-1, Scotland will be kicking off this game, and we are now underway for yet again another match of the women's sevens at the Commonwealth Games. It will be number 10 there, Meryl Smith, getting us underway. And it was almost knock on from Scotland there, but instead now it will be Fiji with the ball 22 metres out. Naimasi running backwards here. Looks like Fiji's just taking a little bit more time to make sure that they can find that offload, which they have now got. Going down the wing, beautiful offload. Fiji trying to break. A great low tackle made, I believe it was by Rona Lloyd. Now Fiji hanging on to this ball in the breakdown. Naimasi goes back across. Nice little offload up from Nagusa. And Kavaru passes off. This is nice work from Fiji hanging onto this ball. Hopefully our scoreboard updates itself relatively soon, but that is going to be a penalty for Fiji with the Scottish player not rolling away. And like they're saying, good bit of pressure early on from Scotland. They know that they have to try and push them early in this contest if they want any chance of being able to make their way over the line. It's going to be a bit of a loose ball there, but it's nicely taken in the end by Donu. Beautiful offload. Now Ripia Lunasau. She does the kick in behind. She's been bumped off by Scotland. It's almost, well, that would be a 50-22 if we were playing Union, but because it's sevens, it does mean that it will be Scotland who have now got themselves the line-out throw. But Lunasau, she went for the little chip off her left boot. In fact, she kicked it with her right, and then she was bumped off a little bit, asking for the penalty after Chloe Rowley went across. And it is going to be now the line out for Scotland. Rowley, that was not straight. Unfortunately for Scotland, that was the one that they really needed to make sure that went directly straight as an arrow, as now Fiji, just out from the 22, will have themselves the scrum feed. Now, physical forward pack, the Vea in the front row for Fiji. A size advantage for Fijiana here in this contest. But Scotland, if it's anything like the men's seven side, they will have someone in there like a Jordan Edmonds who can just run over anyone who is in their way. Kavaru now feeds the ball in for Fijiana. Looking across to the right-hand side, Ripia Lunasau finds the offload now to Nagasau. Nice little wrap around, and a Lunasau, Ripia Lunasau does score the first. No, she almost slipped over. They're going to have to check this one. She should have scored the first try of the match anyway. She thinks that it is all right. The TMO might say otherwise. I believe she was just able to get her foot down and the ball down before going dead. And also we get the Hamish not live stream. Says Brandon there as well. Right, Lunasau, she was slipping and sliding. Ooh, it's almost simultaneous, but I believe she got the ball down just before she did end up going dead. Has been awarded as a try, and also Dude ate a coffee from with Mark from 2 cents the other day. We reckon you could be the best caller in the country if you keep it up. You're a natural, says Distracted Sports. I appreciate that a lot, mate. So I guess coffee, you are in Auckland, aren't you? So are you guys like relatively close to each other, or did you just have a chat and like kind of travel somewhere to be able to go? But yeah, I mean, like you mentioned in your description, I did see your little thingy that you mentioned about you may see my mum on my channel, and she is actually next to me. She is updating me on the other sports that are taking place. 4-0 in the hockey between the New Zealand women's side and Kenya. That is 7-0 now for Fiji versus Scotland. Greetings, says Daddy Fat Sacks. And there's welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. Looks like Scotland. They want the scrum on the halfway line. And Meryl Smith. Haven't seen too much of a few of these ladies in the Scottish side, but it is absolutely great. He's down the road, says Distracted Sports there. And also, question for you, are you doing Hamish versus Brandon? Says Brandon, probably not at this stage. I wouldn't be thinking, just with the amount of sport and everything that we have got on. But 3.5 minutes left of this first half, halfway through, and Fiji are still only 7-0 up. This will be one of the first chances Scotland have had with the ball in the first 3 and a bit minutes. Around the side now, Raleigh. Not quite able to get too many meters there, but now Scotland passes through. It's a good running from Thompson. Now finds the lady on the outside, number 5 for this one. Shauna Campbell finds the offload as well, and Thompson's on the inside if they need her, but instead Scotland just continuing to attack. They are a part of the Women's Six Nation, which I believe is where Thompson, and also there is another name in there, which I think is actually the woman in my thumbnail, has come in from. Now nice work from Raleigh. She's been smacked. It was a big hit, and it's an advantage as well for the high shot. And they're going back now for the high shot, I should say. Lloyd throws it over. And now Scotland continuing to attack. Raleigh off to Thompson. Good low tackle made 25 metres out from the line. I believe there was a knock on the ground. And now Fiji will have themselves the scrum feed. And Warriors score, says Distract Sports. And I know you said yesterday, I will be your I don't know. And there says Brandon, I do see you've got a fake me in the Discord, which is interesting. And Bulla Hamish, good to see you back, my bro. Says King T, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. Hope you're excited for all the sevens that we have got coming up. Question for you, mate. Favorite game that is coming up later on today? I know a lot of people have said New Zealand Samoa, although England Samoa will also be a very good one, as that could confirm who makes their way through to the next stage. Good work in the breakdown from Scotland. They are in the scrum, and now because of it, they've been able to take it back, grab it forward. Sinclair trying to get on it. She hasn't been able to, but good work there in the breakdown. She wins the penalty for Scotland. And now Thompson wants to take it quickly. Has taken the tap. She wasn't on the mark, though. Now taps it quickly. They've 4 on about 2 out here for Scotland. All they need is the pass, and it's gone down. And Scotland score. And it will be Shona Campbell who scores for the Scottish. This is going to be a massive upset if we do see Scotland manage to take down the flying Fijiana women's side. But Thompson took it quickly. This is the first real opportunity. Like I mentioned, first 3.5 minutes, we didn't see Scotland touch the ball other than when Fiji were pretty much having a couple mistakes. But now that Scotland have had a little bit of possession, they look like they can be extremely dangerous. And Fiji, they certainly cannot underestimate them. Nice try for Scotland. It was just to make you laugh. There's Brandon there as well. And now 1 minute left in the first half. Fiji 7, Scotland 5. So the kick was missed, unfortunately, which could be a massive turning point in this contest. But now Meryl Smith about to kick this one off. She has gone about 20 metres with that kick, taken nicely by Fiji in the form of Cesinelli Donu, I believe it is. Almost mispronounced that a little bit and mispronounced. So there you go. Now, nice fend from Repia Lunasau. She tried to find the offload. It's a knock-on advantage in favour of Fiji, trying to keep this ball alive. And now I believe Donu down the wing. It looks like a very slippery turf at the moment. It doesn't seem like it's quite holding up the way that they would have liked to. Like they're saying, coming up next, it will be the women's 7 side, New Zealand versus Canada. Now, we will actually be making some food while watching that one. Now, nice offload. A lot of pressure here for Fiji, but now breaking, and this is going to be a foot race. And the question is there enough gas in Lisa Thompson's tank to be able to take her down? She's trying her absolute hardest, but she doesn't get her. And it will be the try for Bolecki. And you got to feel for her. She ran the whole way, Thompson, just to be half an inch from being able to take her down. But Adi Vani Bolecki has been able to get there. Unfortunately, Lloyd missing the tackle. And also a missed tackle in the end for Raleigh. So a couple tackle attempts just a little bit too high. And in the end, Fiji continued to apply that pressure, running hard. Became a foot race. Thompson, she did not want to give up. But It was just a little bit too long. I'd say another 10 or 15 meters, she might have got her. And then Mbaleki does go in. Go, Fiji, go. Says Tups there. Now with the kick to come, Fiji. Is the one gone over? I think it just missed out to the side. No, it did go over, sorry. So now 14 points to 5 going into halftime between Fiji and Scotland. Now we go back to the one-eared and we say to the mumsy, how are the bowls going?
Yeah, the triples are up 11-1.
Okay.
After 18s. But I can't find any other updates on the other bowls.
Ah.
Yeah.
I see.
Come through, so...
I wonder if the microphone, ladies and gentlemen, do let me know, can you hear my mum when she talks? Out of curiosity. Because then that will kind of tell me if I need to relay it or just, I guess I could try and pass the microphone over.
I could probably sit closer.
But at the moment, Scotland, a close game. Follow me out up against Fijiana. They are 1 try and something behind at this point in time. But Fiji women's side, Boleki getting 1 try, Olunisau getting another. And then for the Scottish, I believe it was Shona Campbell was able to get. Amos has said yes, and a little bit, says Steve as well, if you can hear my mum. Currently in the hockey, it does seem relatively one-sided after about, I would say, 23 minutes or so. New Zealand women's side are sitting 4-0 up over the Kenyans. So not quite the result that Kenya would be after in there, but New Zealand, one of the favourites in the women's hockey. We will actually hopefully be able to do some hockey a bit later on. But Sayasi fully in charge of the women's Fijiana side. They will have kickoff for the second half. So now we will have to wait and see exactly how they go. And also Toso Vititoso says Tops there. Do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who do you think will win the match between New Zealand and Samoa? And then also, same question for Fiji versus Scotland in the men's, because we do actually get to see that later on today. And we will be covering that one on the channel as well. Kicked off high from Fiji, looking to try. And oi, that was a big bit of contact in the air. It's gone backwards though. So now Olunisau tries to dribble it forwards. There's a lot of pressure in the breakdown, but a lady landed very hard on her back. Now, looks like Scotland have quite a flat backline at the moment. Doesn't look like they're willing to allow too much space in between, because if Fiji get there and they get a turnover, normally it is try 9 times out of 10. But now Lisa Thompson, the captain, oh no, it's under pressure and it's a mistake. And now because of it, Kavuru runs in and scores the try. Just the one little handling error, and Fiji make the most of it. It was Lavena Kavuru who was able to get that one very nicely. And like they're saying, Fiji just fighting for in the breakdown. It rolled free. Olunisau picks up, finds the offload to Kavuru, and Fiji go in for yet again another try. She sold a nice dummy on the outside, to be fair to her. Unfortunately, sat down the Scottish defender, landed on her head almost with the celebration. That's the thing. Sometimes scoring a try is riskier than playing the whole game. We've seen celebrations go wrong before, and this ground's quite hard. Now Fiji lining up the kick. And it is over. Brilliant kick there from Fiji. And now makes the score 21 points to 5 in favour of the Flying Fijiana. And also how far for the men's game, so says King T. So the first men's match will be kicking off at 10:12 New Zealand time. And that will be New Zealand versus Sri Lanka. Then straight after that, there is a game taking place between England and Samoa. Then after that one, I believe there's also South Africa, Malaysia. Scotland versus Tonga. South Africa, I mentioned, I just realized. And then Australia played Jamaica as the first game, and home of the Wasps. Boo, says Sebastian in there as well. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's cutting up a bit rougher for the turf than I remember it for the Wasps at Coventry. But currently Scotland trying to hang on to this ball in the breakdown. It's a huge amount of pressure there. Now it's rolling out, nutmeg the lady straight through the legs, now trying to hang on to it. Shona Campbell, the try scorer from earlier on. Nice fend. Another offload to Campbell from Nelson. And now they look to the short side. Wide cutout pass. Seems like there's a little bit of structure starting to form here for Scotland in the way their backline moves. Smith takes contact. Now back again to Campbell. Off to Lisa Thompson, the captain of this side. She's running hard. She's made an extra, I'd say, 5 to 10 metres with that post-contact meterage. She was getting for herself. Now it is in the hands of the number 11, Rona Lloyd. Almost managed to get her way through. Once again, having to find the offload. Campbell goes back again. This is very patient from Scotland, hoping to find the breakthrough. Emma Orr has another carry, and Queens versus South Sea Sharks in the Champions Cup. Bonkers mental, can't wait. There's Sebastian. It's a beautiful run now, though, breaking the line, and it will be the first try of the match of the second half for Scotland. And that is going to be none other than Rona Lloyd. Does manage to score it. The 25-year-old Scotswoman being able to go in. Okay, Hamish, which side will be champion for women's rugby and protect this tournament? And there as well. And we have got, I would say, Australia right up there. They will certainly have a good chance. Fiji and New Zealand. Those are probably the three big ones. Plus England having home field advantage. Won't be too bad. And yeah, Wasp Boo, says Stephen there. And the Storm score, says Distracted Sports. And there as well. And also anyone else here for the New Zealand versus Sri Lanka pre-game hype, says Distracted Sports. Yeah, it's probably not the biggest game that everyone was hoping for their first matchup, but it's a good warm-up for New Zealand, I would say. And hopefully they do all right. The points differential of that game could be crucial as well, which is why I think Samoa versus Sri Lanka is also going to be a very one-sided affair when we do get to see it tomorrow. Nice offload from Fiji. There seems like there's a Scottish player down currently. Nice run forward. Naimasi hurdling. And now she continues to go forward, taken down about 15 metres out from the line. Trying to recycle it quickly here for Fiji, finding the one-handed offload. Once again, nice pass. Looks like a very calm build-up for Fiji. A lady was kind of tackled, but in a way she just kind of got held and then she fell to the floor. I said, no, that'll do. That was Davea. Now ball on the outside, 2-on-1 here for Fiji. Although Naimasi decided to just jog into that one, which put a little bit less pressure on the Scottish defence, but she has broken through anyway off the offload. And Fiji score again. A fitty bomb surely for the Kiwis. Yeah, I would think there's a very good chance that New Zealand will get the 50 in that one. But then saying that, there are actually like South Africa, Malaysia. I think that has the opportunity of 50 points for the South Africans. Fiji versus Zambia, a side who I haven't actually seen play before. Zambia, that is. I have watched quite a bit of the Fiji Sevens in the past, and I wouldn't be surprised if they make it far in this competition as well. They want the gold. They haven't got it yet in the Commonwealth Games for the men's. Maybe now could be their opportunity. The kick from wide. It's going to be pulling up short, and now with 1 minute 40 left on the clock, 26 points to 12 in favour of Fiji. Very nicely done so far. We have seen 4 different try scorers for Fiji. Baleki, Alunisel, Kuvuru, and also Donu was the other try scorer. Scotland, they have scored 2 for themselves, though. A very valiant effort in their first ever Commonwealth Games for the Women's Sevens. About to be kicked off by Fiji. I believe a couple subs have been made in this one. Of course, first game of this Commonwealth Games. You just want to give everyone an equal opportunity to get a bit more time under their belt. Meryl Smith for Scotland. She has been playing for the full 13 minutes. Brilliant fend there. I believe that was Evie Gallagher, and she is trying to run hard, but about 3 Fijiana women's players just get straight after her, and it's a penalty now to Scotland. So they will take this quick tap. They haven't dropped their heads yet. If they get 2 converted tries, this match could be a draw, which would be massive for them. Now Dolly has ended up, unfortunately, losing her footing, and it's a penalty this time to Fiji. So now currently, with less than a minute on the clock, you would have to say that Fiji are going to be taking out this game. Points differential is massive in the game of sevens, and that could be one of those key factors to get you through to the semi-finals. That's another penalty to Fiji, not rolling away against, I believe that was Meryl Smith, was penalised for that one. And also just realised Peter has been dropped by the ABs. Thoughts on the decision, says Ed. I thought he was a bit unlucky, but then saying that, like, there were also a couple players who were probably unlucky not to get added in rather than Shannon Frizzell, because Shannon Frizzell we haven't actually seen play any rugby much in recent times. 5 months, I've just heard from a mum. Oh, 5-0 in the hockey. 5-0 for the New Zealanders over the Kenyan. That is another try, and this time it is Viniana Riwai who has gone in. So actually all different try scorers for Fiji. That is promising early on. It just shows that even without a couple of the players on the field, they have still got a very dangerous chance of being able to run in fives all day long. Their next game is going to be up against the South African women's side, who are a side that were just beaten by Australia about 38-0, I believe it was. So relatively close to what Fiji were able to score in this contest. So that game will be exciting, and we will be covering it at about 4:30 a.m. New Zealand time. So a nice time, I guess you could say, but that will be the end of this game. And it is 31 points to 12 in favour of Fiji. So they will go to second on Pool B, followed by Scotland, followed by South Africa. Reece Walsh just bombed a try. Says Distracted Sports there. AB selection only choose safe players. Loyalty, I suppose. Yeah, but that's the thing. I would have, I know it sounds like because I've got a bit of a connection in a way, but Cullen Grace, I would have thought, would have been a much better option than Shannon Frizzell, because we've seen him play well throughout the last few matches for the Crusaders, played well for the Māori All Blacks, was one of the standouts in that competition up against the Irish, has got some good form, has a past All Blacks cap, can play 6, 7, and 8, and also lock if you need him. It just kind of made more sense. That makes sense. And also, we have Wananavu, Viti, Tosa Viti, says Tups there as well. So Fiji, they take out their first match of the Commonwealth Games, and they are victorious over Scotland, 31 points to 12. So the next game that we are covering on the channel, ladies and gentlemen, it will be kicking off at 10 past 10 or so New Zealand time, and that is New Zealand taking on Sri Lanka. Then following that game, we have got England versus Samoa. And after that one, South Africa versus Malaysia, Scotland versus Tonga, and then we have got one more match a little bit later on that we are covering. And then that is not actually talking about, what was it? We aren't actually covering one of the games, or a couple of the games, because they are actually going to be Australia versus Jamaica and Uganda, Kenya. But then later on in the morning, this is very confusing. I will have all the live streams scheduled, so you know exactly when we are up. And totally agree, you should make a video about what a dumb decision that was, says Distracted Sports. Yeah, but as you know, I am very good at avoiding sitting off the fence. You know, I don't mind being plumped straight in the middle on the stable platform. You know, is Lamape back in New Zealand next year, says Ed? I think so. I think he is coming back, isn't he? Stade Francais, I don't know whether or not they are keeping him for any longer in his contract, because they also have Naya Falevu is another player who was playing for Stade Francais, but I think he's locked in a longer contract, if I'm not wrong there. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. Like I mentioned, we will be back in about 2 hours' time. And also, I should mention, at about 9 p.m. New Zealand time, we will have our Samoan preview going up on the channel, talking through all of their fixtures that will be coming up. And then hopefully, if I have time, I'm all for the Kiwi lads becoming more controversial, says Distracted Sports in there as well. But yeah, the next game or the next preview hopefully will be Fiji, if we do get time to edit it before the match does go out. But thank you all very much for tuning in. We have got Go Fiji, Go bring back the gold from Rio, says Yash there. And yeah, with a win in the women's, we will have to wait and see how it does develop for Fijiana. But yeah, thank you all very much for tuning in. I will see you all